Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today I can finally talk about the CM Storm Stryker. I've never really quite understood why they called the white one the Stryker and the black one the Stormtrooper, and there is no official word as such, but all I can assume is that it's some kind of strange legal kind of complication with this kind of Star Wars theme where the Stormtrooper would come from, even though it's a CM Storm and then a separate name Trooper. But anyway, we will assume it's that. One thing I will say is I'm videoing this ahead of time because the NDA is not until the 19th, and there are a few things I want to get this done. I want to get the video kind of done ready, so I've got it sat around ready to upload. Now, one thing I will say is what we're going to do is we're only going to be really covering the basics. I've already done quite an extensive review on the Stormtrooper itself, which I'm going to make pop up in a link in the video. So if you want to, if you first look at the case, take a look at the case of the black one. This video is mainly going to be just skimming across the top of the features and then also pointing out any subtle differences between the two cases. There are a few, not a massive amount of them, but that's what we're going to concentrate on today. So this isn't going to be, I think I spent a good 45 minutes reviewing that one. So that the review for the black one pretty much stands for this one. And it's a lot more in depth. This one we're just going to kind of skim over the top and have a look at the differences. Now, one thing I will say about the black one is in the original review I said this was probably the best case Cooler Master had ever made, and I still stand by that point as well. Cosmos 2 is a great case, but design wise, and especially when you think about price as well, the Trooper stroke Stryker are amazing cases. Massive amounts of value for money, great design, really good features. The fact they've now made it a white one just makes me tingle inside, because we all know how much I like white. And this is something I'll talk about with you a bit later on, because there's still a few ideas going through my head, and I don't know what I'm going to do with, you know, the thoughts about this case or possibly using another case as my own personal rig. But like I said, we'll talk about that later. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the case on its side to start off with, because the biggest difference between the Stryker and the Stormtrooper is the side panels, and I mean both side panels as well. Now, the Stryker does come with this lovely designed window on the side and a slightly different mesh for the fans in the front, because the hard drive bays can be run cross flow or with a normal flow pulling in from the front. I would personally say I would always run my fans coming in from the front anyway, because it helps bring extra air into the case itself. There are kind of ventilation bits in the bottom. One of the things that we need to think about, if we're forcing air across the hard drives and straight out the other side, then there's not really a massive amount of air going to get into the main part of the case itself. So that is the reason why I'd always favour them coming in the front. Now, like I did say, you can see that we've got a slightly different grille design here. Now, the Stormtrooper, there is a window panel available, but you have to buy it separately. It does not and will not ever come with the black case. The Stryker does just come with the window panel. You can't get just the mesh panel. So it's kind of complicated. So if you like the Trooper but you want a window, you've got to buy it separately. Stryker will always just come with it. Now, I still don't know about pricing on these cases, so I'm kind of hoping that the Stryker is probably going to come in around the same price point. If it's a little bit more because of the window and stuff, I wouldn't really worry about it too much personally. I'd say it's kind of just one of those things really, and I always said in the original review, if they made one of these cases, even if it was the black one and it cost a little bit more but it had a window, I would have favoured it. So that's the kind of side panel differences there. And other than the colour, I would say that is the biggest change. If we spin it round, we'll spin them both around. We can see on the back panel there are subtle differences as well. We can see that on the back panel there is basically it mirrors the window on the other side. There's the bulge around the back, which this is obviously going to help with your cabling, and a slightly different mesh panel here, shaped mesh panel. And on this side you can see that you've got a bit of an indentation, but it's quite localized. It's kind of like about a third of the way down up to about half of the way up. So you've not got the large kind of bulge in the side, and you've got a very kind of angular stroke mesh panel here with this kind of strange hexagonal mesh above it. I've never really understood this. This, I think, is a much cleaner line. The lines work a lot better with the side of the case. I actually prefer this side panel personally a lot. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to, rather than keep moving the case in front of you, we don't really need the Stormtrooper much anymore. So what I'm going to do is rejig the camera for the white one, and we'll be back in 2 secs. Right then, my lovelies, moving on. Side panel off the case. As you can see, I've not put a system in this because obviously we're just skimming across the features of the case. It's essentially the same as the original Stormtrooper, but they have made some subtle changes. Fans in this are now all white, and you can see the 120s in the side. As I said before, if I was going to run this case with the hard drive cages in, I'd have the fans blowing in the front because they can be rotated round. Brilliant piece of design there. These are 120mm gloss white fans, and they have got LEDs in. Something else is there's in the roof, you can see up the top, you've got the 220mm fan at the top and the 140 exhaust in the back. They are all also gloss white fans. Now generally when a manufacturer switches over to kind of a gloss or over to the white case, they nearly always use the same fans that they used in the case previously. So the fact that they have gone as far as to change the fans, and I certainly haven't seen any other white Cooler Master fans, I think this is a real kind of nice touch, and it does show how much kind of thought that they've put into making this white one right. Because like I said, it would have been so easy for them just to have just used a normal fan, or even just gone with a clear bladed fan. It really wouldn't have been that hard, but they've gone that extra step, and I really, really like it. Something that I did find slightly disappointing, considering how far they went with the fans, was the fact that they have used the standard black hard drive cages. And if you turn it round that way so that you can see that the black cage there at the front, it does kind of stand out quite a bit. And considering it's just a case of powder coating, I think it would have been quite nice to have done that in white. Other than that, with the Trooper, there is no real difference. You can see that we've still got the black candle at the top. One thing I will say about the plastic is with white, I've never really seen a gloss white plastic. The finish on this white plastic at the top is spot on, and I do mean spot on. I've seen some paint jobs, but maybe not my paint jobs, but I've seen paint jobs come out worse than this. It's bloody brilliant. It's so shiny and glossy. It makes the plastic look all thick and lovely. It's absolutely amazing. If we come round to the front, they have retained the black standard drive bays and the magic cupboard kind of clip. Originally I did think that this may be a little bit too much black, but I think it does kind of mix up the colour that little bit more, so that you've got a nice black it does help to break it up a bit. And if I zoom you in, one thing that you can see is that there's black strips all down the side of the case, and if I zoom you out so you can see all of it, that black strip actually goes in the side there right the way down, and it's all nice and glossy here, and the same up here and round. It's actually a really, really nice touch. I really like it. It's kind of a fine detail. It's really nice. There's a point on the front of the case that comes round. It would have been nice if this had been done black as well, but they didn't. It would have been lovely if they put a black recess in there or a black insert in there. And the only other real difference that I've found with the two cases is on the top up here on the Trooper, there was an eSATA port, and they've blocked that off for this case. Other than that, they seem exactly the same, and I actually quite like it because they've kind of kept it simple. They've put their focus into the fans. They've made it really, really nice. So yes, my thoughts on the Stryker. Now, I gave the original case, and you may think that this is kind of a short review, but that's because, like I said, it's so similar to the original Trooper, it doesn't really warrant me doing another full review. But I'll tell you what I'll do. Well, I'll stick the side back on, and we'll do like a little bit of a wrap-up conclusion, and I'll pass my thoughts on it. Right then, peeps. So, yes, you are correct. This has been quite a short review, especially for me. But like I've said previously, there are so many similarities, or rather there aren't very many changes other than the colour between the two cases. I didn't want to spend another 45 minutes to an hour recovering everything, especially when I've got plans to do a modding guide with the Trooper stroke Stryker anyway. So there is still work that I want to be doing with these cases. So rather than kind of, you know, fuzzing the lines a bit, we've kept the Stryker one quite basic. Now, that's not because I don't like it, because I love this case. I gave the original Trooper a gold award, and I said it's probably the best case Cooler Master has ever made, and I still stand by that point. Now, I've got a white fetish. Everyone knows I've got a white fetish, and I've been hassling Cooler, well, not hassling, I've been asking about this case ever since I first had it leaked to me, basically when the Trooper first come out. And especially I knew back in when the Trooper first came out that there was going to be a white one, and the white one was the one that they were going to release with the window, and I've always been quite excited about it. It's one of the reasons I didn't do a build in the Trooper to start with, because I always had this kind of idea that I wanted to do one with the white one when it came out. So that got a gold. I have to say, if I was ever going to give a case of platinum, this one has probably come as close as it's ever going to get. But that's because of my white fetish, and I would have kind of favoured it a little bit more. But I love what they've done. I love the fact that they've kept some of the black at the front and at the sides, that they've not gone overboard and put white everywhere. I think the black features really help break it up a bit. As far as builds going in this are concerned, I can see some marvellous rigs being done with this. One thing with white I will say is people always tend to put too much colour in a case like this, especially where, like I said, where it's white. So you end up with people with blue LED fans, blue LED light strips, blue coolant, blue this, blue that. Just remember, go subtle. Something that I've been doing a lot of lately is if you have a colour in the coolant, don't then put that colour lights in as well. Always try and, one of the things I've really been liking is going, so you go alternate. If you've got green coolant or red coolant or something like that, rather than putting then the light strips in as well, try using white light strips. Might sound silly, but what that does when the lights are on, especially when it's dark, rather than just completely covering your case and bleeding it in the colour of your choice, by using the white, it just highlights the coolant. So you actually end up seeing the coolant colour more, and the other, you know, bits in your rig, for example, the slots on the motherboard and stuff like that, those tiny bits of colour, it helps bring out that colour. And like I said, it doesn't then just bleed loads of colour out all over the place. If you want to go with a LED, you know, like your the light strips, you want to go with blue, red or something like that, then what you really need to be thinking about is black coolant or white coolant or something like that, so you've got something striking inside it. You, like I said, don't go overboard with the same colour. White LEDs I don't think can be overused really, and I would always normally favour that. But again, it's a personal thing. But I've seen rigs in the past that they could have been awesome, but because they've used too much of the same colour, it just ruins it. Now again, we're going into modding, like, you know, guides and all that kind of stuff. But the Stryker itself, this is why I want to do like a kind of a modding guide and stuff between the two, or at least with the black case, with the Trooper, because there is so much that you can do to these. And I've had my tape measure out on them already, and I've been having a good look around at possibilities and things like that, and there is a fair bit that you can do, to the point where I'm going to be putting on Facebook in a bit, because like I said, I've recorded this ahead of time, that I don't know whether I want to use this as my personal rig or another white case, and I'm kind of throwing it out there, but have to say I am leaning this way because of the amount of things that I've now got bouncing around in my head that I want to do with it. So yes, the CM Storm Stryker, I can finally say it. Was it worth the wait? Oh hell yes, oh hell yes. I'm going to give it the gold award, the same as that I give the Stryker. That's kind of dependent, as long as they don't put the price up too much for this one. I'd like to think that it would kind of hover around the same kind of, you know, price point when it does come to the market. But it is so nice, and I do mean it is so nice. This is probably as close as I've come to actually not, you know, I would have begged, borrowed and stole to have got this case. If I couldn't have got a review sample the day it got released in the shops, I more than likely would have ended up going to buy one. I like this case this much. And that's a big thing for me. But don't forget, this is my own kind of, this is going away from the reviewing it as a whole. This is becoming quite a personal thing for me. But at this present moment in time, like I said, I'm kind of torn between two. So I need to, you know, have a little bit of a think, and then, you know, kind of move on from that, and then, you know, see where we can go. But you may end up seeing a lot more of this case. But for now, at least, finally, actually, one of the things I will say is we ended up calling this, or a lot of people on Facebook ended up calling this Voldemort, as in, because we kept calling it the case that couldn't be mentioned. And I loved that. The interaction with this on the TTL Facebook page has been brilliant, and I do mean brilliant. I've really enjoyed some of the stuff that the guys have been saying. So yes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to love you and leave you, but I wouldn't be surprised if you end up seeing a whole lot more of this case. But for now, at least, this is Tiny Tom Logan with another video for you. Out. Right then peeps, I'm just going to add a little section on the end of this. Obviously I recorded the rest of the video quite a while beforehand. It's like a good kind of like 5-7 days ago. I can't remember exactly when it was. And I've been discussing with people on Facebook. Things have been coming up in the forums, people on MSN, all kinds of stuff. And I just want to add at the end of this video, I am going to be bringing back, for the regulars on Facebook and the regulars that know about me and the background and all that kind of stuff, I have made a decision, and the Storm Stryker is going to become my Orca project. I don't want to say any more than that, but this case has really inspired me, and really there's so many things that I've kind of seen and I want to do with it, so I've made the decision now and I'm not going to change it. The CM Storm Stryker will become my Orca rig, which will become my own personal rig. It's going to be a build stroke mod, that kind of thing that I'm going to be doing for myself. It's my first proper custom rig, I'll say, as in the stuff that I wanted to kind of fiddle and do stuff with, really, since my original Heaven and Hell rig. So it's kind of a big thing for me. I'm not, obviously, because of the time restraints with the forums and stuff like that, and it's summer and I still want to be able to get out of the house, may not put as much time as I did into H&H, but you can expect things with this. And like I said, I don't really want to say too much more. There is parts coming. I am waiting for parts to come in. There are a lot of parts here already. I've mentioned in my one of my subscriber videos that I've got stuff coming and been made and all kinds of stuff. So the wheels are in motion. When everything is here, I will do the introduction. I will introduce you to all of the bits, and I think you're going to like it. But I'm going to leave that here now. This was just an excerpt to nail on to the end of the video. But don't worry, I won't let you down.